Is it fair to dismiss this season as a one-off bad year for the Niners and Brock Purdy, or do you believe that this is Brock Purdy here at 24 years old?
Well, Jed York and John Lynch have a big decision to make. I mean, because the amount of money being paid to, your star quarterbacks right now is $55, $60 million. That's going to be an investment that's going to basically, a lot of guys are going to have to depart. You're going to be limited by what you can do. If you do that, and they have to make that decision now. Obviously, you wouldn't base anything off playing in the monsoon and the poor performance by everybody in that game, but that's the $1 million decision that the 49ers got to make right now. Because if you make the wrong decision, and he's a guy that's a declining player, which it sort of looks like right now, then you're going to be a bottom feeder for a while, And so it's a very tricky situation right now. You can say, okay, we got backups all over the place, and we got all these injuries, and the offseason was just muddled by holdouts. And all right, is it an aberration or is it real? Because he couldn't complete a pass down the field at all the other day. And the interception, I think Darius Williams probably interfered a little bit, with Jennings on the outside there, and he couldn't get to the ball. But still, they needed one play to win that game and to stay in the race. They couldn't make one play, and that's on the quarterback. And so he had Pearsall, on a post, bang eight. Then you put it out in front of him. He walks in the end zone, providing he catches it. He's got the corner beat. Markello Witherspoon looked like, last week in that game, he looked like he was, Deion Sanders, against some of the guys he was covering. But it's a big question right now, Bonte, amongst all the other questions that are swirling in San Francisco. And I don't know what the answer is right now, honestly. Because, I was the biggest Brock Purdy fan and defender for 3 years. But, they needed to make one play against the Rams. And they couldn't make one play.
I'm seeing a similar thing to you. And I don't know if it's indecisive. I don't know if he doesn't trust his own arm and shoulder. I don't know if defenses are just keen on the 4 or 5 spots in the middle of the field they like to throw to. The word I keep coming back to is predictable and a step slow on just everything. And they're not dynamic in terms of being able to throw the ball down the field. Heck, Baldy, the second to last play of the game, he airmails a wide open Ricky Pearsall going toward the sidelines. It just feels like they have a very difficult time completing anything in that intermediate to deep range. Why is that? Is it a function of the offense? Is it defenses? Is it Brock? Because I got a bunch of stats here, and we can go over them after that. But, why can't they complete the ball down the field? It's kind of driving me crazy.
Well, you're watching Cam Curl cover George Kittle down the field. You're looking at, matchups. If you would think if you throw the ball enough against any defense, you're going to get the defense either to break down or be out of position. The 49ers can't get either one. I saw Minnesota. I saw Sam Darnold throw 5 touchdowns, 2 weeks ago against Atlanta, and that's Jesse Bates and some Justin Simmons. They've got 50-something interceptions between the two of them. They were breaking down left and right. Justin Jefferson's free, Jordan Anderson's free. You don't see that with this 49ers up. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is it seems awfully predictable. Now, that's what you get when you don't get guys open or wide open, or the defense is, their coverages are breaking down. You're not seeing that right now. You're seeing a lot of one-on-ones where guys aren't winning. You saw a lot of square-ins from Kittle, from Debo, that all got defended on that game against the Rams. And I wouldn't put those guys, Witherspoon, Curl, even Williams, I wouldn't put that group as, a top flight secondary in this league. But they played like one last Thursday night.
Baldy, and Bonte wants to get in here, but first 25 games, including the playoffs, 45 touchdowns, 17 total turnovers. The 18 games, starting with the Baltimore game, 20 touchdowns, 22 turnovers, and the team is only 10-8. Now, I know there are some better opponents in there. Is there a common denominator? Is there something that you're seeing that is so dramatically different since that Baltimore game? Because it's almost like we all can't unsee it.
Well, for a long time, especially in the first, I think, what'd you say, 30 games, Joe? I always thought this about Kyle's offense. I always knew that there was a motion and a shift in every play. And they were trying to get you out of your gaps, out of position, whatever. Okay, window dressing. But I always thought of every run they had a play action. And that play action got the quarterback free, he got a good vision, and he had time. And I just don't see much of that right now. Now, it could be a function of there's no McCaffrey, there's no Mason, you're down to Durango, whatever. Could be some of that. There's no Trent. Okay, there's had some injuries up front. Could be some of that. But I don't see – I always just say that every run had a play action. The guys have told me that have been in that offense. Hughes has told me that. And I don't see those play actions getting Brock, really wide open to read the field and to get good, easy throws and get guys open up. That component seems to be missing over the last 18 games.
And Baldy, I agree with you. And I would add to that context, McCaffrey. That's a big, big weapon, and you have to try to overcome that. I don't know how you overcome not having the offensive player of the year. There's a drop-off. There's a big-time drop-off, especially in the pass game. I don't know how you overcome Brandon Ayuk being hurt, even though he was rusty coming in. But let's face it, that was Brock's #1 target last season. He had a dynamic year and finished second in the franchise with 7 100-yard games, only behind the great Jerry Rice. You talk about the offensive line. I think the offensive line is a lot worse. So there's a lot there with this football team. But at 24, I've been asking fans all week long, since there's been a lot of doom and gloom around here. That's what happens in losing seasons. You see things going on, like the videos you sent on Twitter, Baldy, where Debo's running into Isaac Guerrero in a ghost motion. It's like, what the hell is going on here? We can't even function and run a basic motion. At 24 years old, do you believe that Brock Purdy can improve and get better at the quarterback position?
I'd love to know if there is a still existing injury to the shoulder. Is it affecting him? Nobody's going to know. Nobody's going to say anything. He's not going to say anything. The team isn't going to say anything. But is there an injury there that he's playing with? Because it doesn't look like he can drive the ball the way he once did. He never had the strongest arm, but he could drive the ball. And he could layer it. He could do all the things you got to do with the football. And we all saw it. And it was against good teams. And it was in the playoffs. And it was all those things. And you could say, okay, there's no Ayuk. And you could say all these things. But it doesn't look to be the same right now. Now, you've had the elbow. You've had the shoulder. There is a compounding thing to a guy who's he's not Josh Allen. He doesn't have that frame. So is there a compounding injury right here to him that is starting to take its toll right now at a tender age of 24?
Baldy, I'll ask you directly, and we'll get back into the rest of the team because Greenlaw, Debo, there's so much to talk about. If John Lynch came to you and said, hey, Brian, I know you watch every single week, and you watch all these other quarterbacks around the league. Brock is demanding top 5 money. What do we do here? What would your advice to him be?
I'd say I'd go flip him for Sam Darnold right now.
Wow.
Wow. So Minnesota, look, let's just think about Sam for a second. You sat there as a backup all year. You learned what a first-class franchise, game planning, how to build a team. He saw that for the first time in his life. Now he's with Kevin O'Connell, who's an elite play caller with a very, very good offense that has a real style to it, and he's flourishing. And Minnesota doesn't have to commit anything to him right now. All they're doing, I talked to the general manager 2 weeks ago, Quezzy, and just to play it out. They've got a quarterback they drafted. They don't have to give him top flight money, or they could trade him. I would be having a conversation with Minnesota to see what it would take to get Sam Darnold back. He's a bigger, stronger, more athletic, I don't know, but he's bigger and stronger than what Brock is. Or can you play with both of them at a modicum of salary and afford both and, I don't know, have a competition? I'd be interested to see what it would take to get Sam Darnold.